Once a year, in the autumn, I like to do a mushroom episode. But after the nonsense of last year's Mario impression or the previous year's tick impression, it looked like a tough task to up my game. That was until Joe Brown agreed to come on the podcast. Jo Brown, or Burnoid as her many Twitter followers will know her, is an artist, illustrator, mushroom maestro and author of the beautiful nature journal Diary of a Devon Wood. She's also, like a lot of the best people, a proper introvert, so it was a real honour for her to come and join me and my wife for a day of fungi bothering on Dartmoor. Welcome back to the Dartmoor podcast. Mrs. Dartmoor podcast and I set out on a perfect sunny autumn day to walk towards Lustley Cleeve, where we would be meeting Jo. We were looking forward to talking to her about her art and her interest in nature, and specifically to pick her brains on mushrooms. You see, my mushroom knowledge can be categorised like this. First, I learnt the ones I could eat, because I'm a pig and cannot pass up the idea of a free lunch. Then I learnt the really poisonous ones and the ones that make you trip balls, because as well as being a pig, I'm a 14-year-old boy at heart and find that stuff quite exciting. This leaves a huge gap in my knowledge between all the UK mushrooms that will kill you and all the UK mushrooms that would be good in a risotto. And Jo would be the ideal person to fill this gap. Not only was she a self-taught fungi expert, but in the best possible way, you will never meet anyone more excited about mushrooms.
Oh, George! Hey! Classic.
I'd hardly started asking questions before Jo, with the eyes of a hawk, was spying all manner of fungi alongside the path.
There's some carry on near shooting. The hairy curtain crust.
Hairy curtain crust.
Which kind of sounds like a venereal disease. Yeah. But yeah, people mistake it for turkey tail curtain.
Right, yeah.
But underneath, it's orange.
Right, yeah.
And smooth.
Alright.
Whereas underneath a turkey tail, it's white and little tiny pores.
Yeah.
Here's some turkey tail here
Oh, yeah.
with some glistening ink caps
Oh, wow.
in there.
Oh, we're going to find loads of stuff today,
Oh,
aren't
look,
we?
and some candle snuff as well. Zalaria hypoxylon, that one. Look at all the dew on the edges. It's brilliant.
So this is like one of the things I want to talk to you about, because you've got this sort of really small attention to detail and
I
stuff.
have a lot of people who go walking with me are like, how the hell did you spot that 20 feet away?
And your drawings as well are often like tiny little things that you
Yeah,
sort
the
of have.
devil's in the details.
And your system is like taking photos and then drawing
Yeah,
from
take a load of
photos.
photos in the fields
Yeah.
and then go back to my studio and draw them. I don't draw or paint or do anything in the field because I just live a messy life and I normally come back covered in mud and twigs anyway, so the paper is not going to stay clean.
Yeah, I think that's the same here. So how did you spot that from over there?
They might be, they might be fibre caps, which means they're deadly. They're white fibre caps. Because you see the little nip, the little umbo.
Yeah. See, this is the sort
there's loads of them. This is a lilac one, you see. You can see the lilac-y
Oh yeah, just a sheen to it.
When they're really young, they're darker, and people mistake young lilac fibre caps for young amethyst deceivers, which is dangerous.
Right, yeah.
But the gills on the fibre cap are grey, pinky, whereas the gills on the amethyst deceiver are amethyst, the same as the whole.
Yes,
the whole
the same
thing.
colour all the way through.
Are much more lilac when they're little.
Yeah, there's a real...
And here, the sheen of it.
And this wasn't just about ID features and Latin names. Jo is also a fountain of facts about the various uses of the mushrooms we were finding.
That's like the Swiss Army knife for the mushroom knives.
That's the people make like plasters out of it.
Yeah, that's one thing that I like showing people is going to the other side of a fresh one, cutting out, just peeling it off the pore membrane. Because they're antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, all sorts of benefits. And you can chop them up and boil them in tea. They're really good for your immune system. Oh, and you can sharpen knives on them. The nickname is razor sharp. There's so many benefits of mushrooms. Like, the turkey tail. That's the most studied medicinal mushroom in the world. And it just grows everywhere. It's amazing. I've got a lion's mane tincture and a turkey tail tincture that I stick in my tea every morning.
Yeah. You say it does something? Does it work?
I'd say it keeps me more alert.
Yeah. That's how you can spot those little mushrooms from miles away.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Superpowers from...
Wow, it's like mushroom in your system. So it's
Wants to join
The Dartmoor podcast likes to look at little underappreciated things. Slugs, for example.
Yes!
But Joe takes this to a new level, enthusing about practically microscopic fungi growing out of pine cones, leaves and twigs.
It's the tiniest little thing. Wow, it's so delicate.
Yeah, mycena, that one.
Yeah, growing out of a pine cone.
Yeah, lovely.
Beautiful little things.
Yeah. Let's snap it and see if we can have a sniff. See, I can't smell anything.
So is that a way you might be able to identify
Yeah,
them?
sometimes they smell, sometimes their sap is like different colours and that, but I've no idea.
Yeah.
I know it's a mycena.
Oh, look, that is lovely. Yeah, it makes excellent photos.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that little clip-on. What is that then? Is it a little macro lens that
Yeah,
goes
it's an
on
HD
there?
macro.
Oh, that's
So
It's
that
great.
clip you can put on your phone.
Yeah.
I never go out without a macro. I've got
That's
a load of
really
little
cool.
clip-ons.
And that helps you get those little detailed...
Yeah, this one as well. This one's good.
Oh,
Look at that! Look at that! I just pulled out part of a rabbit's skull.
As you do, just...
Something I collected.
And I wonder if there's something about Joe's art that helps her to see the world in such detail. After all, if you draw something, you have to really, really see it. Your eyes tune in a way that they ordinarily wouldn't, as you're forced to translate reality into a picture.
You probably study it in a way you wouldn't normally, like I said, trying to get the right colours and sort of the right shapes.
Sometimes it's
and
really
things.
hard, especially when you've got like the different verocities to the caps. Like some of them are felty,
Right, yeah.
and when you're drawing that, it's like, well, how? So sometimes it's quite hard.
I was going to say that actually. I was having a flip through your book last night, and I was saying like you managed to get like the textures or sort of like suggest the textures of
Takes a while.
things,
Yeah.
on like little beetles and things, like the little bumps and things.
That's
on them. It's
right,
really
and like
amazing.
the stem of an amethyst deceiver, it twists and it's got
Yeah.
the little white lines. You've got to get those ID features in, because what's the point otherwise?
Yeah, right. And you've got a real style as well, where it's like I say, it's sort of like technically accurate enough that you can identify things, but there's also like a little
The whimsy.
a little whimsy, a little
whimsy.
colourfulness, a little
bit
fun
of
to it.
artistic license.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dartmoor podcast is all about the whimsy. It was Joe's beautiful journal, Secrets of a Devon Wood, where I first heard of her and experienced her art. It's a stunning book, documenting 2 years of nature discoveries and observations, each accompanied with one of her beautiful illustrations. And like all things good and pure, it was born from a place of sincerity.
And it's not in the sense that I can't draw, it's getting it to look great for like really important people.
I tell you what though, a bit of imposter syndrome, if you like, is a sign that you're the right person for it.
Yeah, well, I
The
get it all the time.
The people you need to worry about are the people who are just like, yeah, I'm brilliant at this.
I'm
of
the
course I
tits.
will.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who aren't sort of thinking about what they're doing.
I get constant self-doubt and imposter syndrome all the time, but I mean, it just kind of drives me, because it's scary, but it just drives me forwards even more.
Yeah, it's scary to put something out there, but then you get people saying that they really love it and stuff, and that's a nice feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So,
I mean, I've helped a lot of people with my journal, and I was intending to just help myself, but when I put it online, I got a load of publishers, and I was like, I wasn't intending to get it published. That wasn't the reason I started it. I just wanted to start it because I wanted a visual memory of everything that I'd remembered, and it's like my legacy. I don't have children, you see, so it's my legacy. I wanted to leave Summit behind,
Yeah.
and that was the reason. So when people offered to publish it, I was like really overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I understand.
Out of the pines where the sun never shines, it was time for a change of habitat, with deciduous forest verging on proper moorland. And with new territory came some new mushrooms and plenty of new things to learn.
That time away, is that a single chanterelle?
Yes, it is. Well
It's very weird to see one lonely chanterelle there.
Other than
What do you call them in Lithuania, the chanterelles, Unia?
Vomeritis,
And what does that mean?
little squirrels.
Little squirrels.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
They have them. Our squirrels are orange, like the
Oh,
little ones with the bushy ears,
It's quite a big
fluffy ears.
greenish.
Yeah.
Oh, I just killed it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Chanterelle.
Oh, that looks like a green cracked brittle gill.
I could say it's like a greenish tinge to it, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
quite
yeah.
unusual.
Sweaty. There's another titchy chanterelle, I think. A little teeny little whipper.
There you go, he wasn't on his own.
Yeah.
There's always another one. Another little squirrel around.
I'm used to them being a bit darker orange.
I think it might just be the light, or
Nah,
the way it's
it's
sticking out
when you eat
against
them.
that.
When they picked you, kinda.
When they're cooked.
No,
That's where you normally find them on a plate.
When they like.
Hedgehog.
Ah, oh, I've never found these here. Oh, it's a little, cute little dog coming to investigate as well.
Hedgehog.
Oh wow.
Hidden repandum.
Look at that. Oh.
So when you forage these, you take off all of the little spines so that it can fruit the next year round.
Ah, nice.
They're related to.
Also, you don't end up with them all in your kitchen.
Yeah, because it looks like coconut crap all in your dish. See, but these are related to chanterelles, and they very rarely have any bugs in them. Same as chanterelles,
yeah.
because they've got a natural. What's it called?
Like an
Insecticide. They've got a
insecticide,
natural
yeah.
insecticide in them. So. Sorry, they smell sweet.
Oh yeah. Sweet, slightly mushroomy. Look, my sense of smell so bad. I'm just
They're
like mushroomy.
delicious.
Is it
Yeah.
you filming? I don't want my big nose coming
Go
in
on,
the
put your
shot.
put your big beak into the shot. There we go.
That,
Oh, it's nice,
I
very
just spotted
nice.
That as well. That looks like a Lexinum scabrum that's been eaten by the bolete eater.
The bolete eater.
Yeah, there's like a mushroom that eats a mushroom. There's lots of mushrooms
Ah.
that eat other mushrooms. So that is a bolete, and
Ah,
that
yeah.
has been eaten by the bolete
Oh
eater.
wow! I'll chop some
wow.
out.
It starts off white and then it goes yellow.
Mushrooms playing with mushrooms. Yeah. What a weird world.
Here is one of those beautifully named amethyst deceivers.
Deceiver.
Yeah.
That's an amethyst deceiver.
Yeah.
It's quite faded.
Well done.
So I know that one. That's one I know. Oh yeah, how would we not actually seen that?
I know, we're insane, aren't we? Let me just see if the gills break. Because if they... Oh, they're bendy! It's a charcoal burner!
Ah, do you know what? I don't think I'd ever... that's a mushroom I've been looking out for.
Yeah, look, because the brittle gill, it's the only brittle gill whose gills aren't brittle, they
Yeah.
bend. So that is a charcoal burner. They
amazing.
are delicious.
Sadly, this one had seen better days, so wasn't destined for my digestive system.
Yeah, we're just there looking at all these little mushrooms. There's a gigantic...
Sorry, here and here. These are terracotta hedgehogs, so they're much smaller than the hidden repandum, the normal hedgehogs. But you can just see the. Do you want me to pick it? This one?
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
You can just see the little teeth.
Oh yeah, a little
Underneath.
hedgehog teeth.
So that's a terracotta. They're always smaller. There's another one there.
Oh, brilliant.
Let's stick that next to that.
Yeah. You got them both angles there. Ooh. Bang my head on a tree. Oh, that's wonderful.
Lovely. I'm pleased I found that.
That's really good.
That's only the third time I found them.
And, of course, no episode on mushies would be complete without the fly agaric, Amanita muscaria, so iconic that even I know the Latin name for it. But I've talked about this chap before in last year's video. Today was all about the obscure fungi that I'd normally overlook. Like this thing, I wouldn't have ever thought was even a fungus.
This is a glue crust fungus, and you can see that's how it travels. It sticks to the different sticks, sticks them together and moves on. And when you find a hazel with glue crust, there's a likely chance that you could find hazel gloves because it parasitises the glue crust on old hazels, old coppiced hazel trees, and that is incredibly rare.
I would never have even seen that as being like a fungus.
Yeah.
It would never have even jumped out to me.
And there are all sorts of treasures to be found.
Yeah,
Brilliant! 2 of the day!
Oh wow.
Wow.
Don't know what they are.
But, like a slice of poo cake.
Yes, brilliant!
Little mushies all over it.
I'm no stranger to picking up poo, so...
Is that actually poo?
Yeah, it's poo. But it's just like horse or cow poo, it's just grass.
Yeah.
It's nothing...
It's not dog's poo.
No! These don't grow out of dog's poo.
I'd say mushrooms probably have got better taste than to go out of dog's poo.
Brown birch black.
Ah, yeah, with the stem on the side. Oh yeah, we stood on them. So
And you can see it milking. So that is a milk cabbage.
Joe's passion for tiny little things is really contagious
Titches.
Oh yeah,
and
so
quite
tiny.
inspiring.
Grown out of that, look. That stick.
That tiny little,
Yeah.
it's bigger than the twig it's
Yeah, it's
grown
bigger
out
than a
of.
twig.
I'm one of those people who don't really ever want to go anywhere. I travel about as well as a banana in a Bergen. So a fascination with the minuscule really appeals to me. To experience more, I don't need to go further afield. I just need to zoom further in. I don't need to leave Dartmoor to learn more about the world. I can just look at the same place more closely. Ideal. The smaller, the better, and things don't get much tinier, or so I thought, than these candle snuff fungus. Ironically named, as rather than snuffing out light, they are, Joe told me, mildly bioluminescent. She had a great trick with these with the slow motion setting on her phone too. That's pretty cool. But perhaps my favourite little mushrooms of the day, or at least the most photogenic, were these little fellows. A bit of a common misconception is that mushrooms and fungi only grow on rotting or dead wood, or that they are killing trees, whereas actually most fungi have an important symbiotic relationship with their plant hosts, nurturing them rather than strangling them. Some are tree-murdering bastards though, like this honey fungus. The world of mushrooms has evolved to be so vast and varied that there's no point in making generalities. And on the topic of strange varieties of fungus, how about this for an incredible evolutionary trick?
Dung fungi are so interesting. There's this one called dung cannon,
Right.
and it's so small that if you're going down to look at the little orange specks on dung,
Yeah.
you can kind of just see the little black specks at the top of the dung cannon.
Yeah.
And it's called dung cannon because basically the top pops off and the spores shoot out. And when they do, it's one of the fastest living organisms on Earth. And basically it shoots out to get away from the ring of repugnance.
Right.
The ring of repugnances, that's not where it's to foliage that the animals are going to eat because they don't eat where they shit. So that's why it has the speed to shoot out, and then it goes through the system again and they eat it, the foliage, then it gets pooed out.
That's
It's
really
just
clever.
amazing.
Yeah.
And, of course, because the Dartmoor podcast is blessed with extraordinary luck, we actually found some too.
So small. Can you hear that?
Oh yeah. That
Oh my god, I can see one. Right,
Is this-
let me get my 100 out and see if I can
Is
get
this
it.
a cow poo?
I think that's cow poo. It doesn't look like sheep poo, does it? They're so difficult to photograph in the field. That's why I take
Yeah.
the poo home. I'm not taking that home.
Yeah, that's not a particularly.
No chance I'm taking that home. So yeah, I think I can just about see one.
A different universe.
Universe.
Maybe that pool is a whole universe and mushrooms are planets. And what's in the mushrooms?
That
That's
is
incredible.
something granulata. So I know the little orange one, and it is through looking at the orange ones that I learnt about the Duncanning. So I found it by accident.
I learnt more in a couple of hours with Jo than I would have done reading a whole mushroom encyclopedia. But the biggest treat of the day came right at the end. Not only did she sign my book, absolutely making my day, but generous Jo had got me a signed print of her latest work. And it's a stunner, full of some of my favourite Dartmoor species. Even a few liberty caps lurking cheekily in the background there. It's got pride of place next to the Dartmoor podcast bookshelf. But the biggest gift I received was a newfound fascination with a minuscule. With the beauty of a fractal, Dartmoor is revealing smaller and smaller treasures to me. A whole galaxy of life on a single rotten log. What's this? What's going on here? What's this chap up to? How did this hair get here? More than enough to marvel at, and plenty to explore in future episodes. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.